And you can put that up there if you want.
Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm sorry I had to pause and make my post public. So if you are here on Facebook, can you put something in the comments for me? I'm getting ready to get
which one do you want? Sideways?
IG going. No, I want it
vertical.
Yeah, which is
I get it. Give it to me.
Hey everybody, hello. Welcome to Sound Off Saturday. Let me see something in the comments just so I know that I am public, post this public. I've done what I was supposed to do and all of that jazz. And all. I'm getting my IG set up. And I want to create a banner here too, but don't worry about that. Hi, how are you? Hello. So just getting set up here for Instagram. I know y'all can see Corey on the screen. He's helping out. If not, I'm gonna have to go with that. Uh-oh. Corey's in here breaking stuff. Well, he didn't break it. He just looking at it with something wrong. I really could just prop it like this, but then everybody get to see my stomach. Hey everybody. Hello. Welcome. I'm doing good. I'm good. How are you? Welcome to Sound Off Saturday. It is the first Sound Off Saturday in 2022. And it is my first Sound Off Saturday in about 3 weeks. Hey, Tasha, it's been about 3 weeks. I think the last Sound Off Saturday I did was December 18th, the day after my daughter's birthday. Because the next week, that Saturday was Christmas Day. And then the next week, that Saturday was, what was it? Was it New Year's Eve? I don't know. Anyway, thanks. Thank you. That's my husband setting up the camera. Happy New Year, Michelle. So I am happy to be here on this. This is not the first Saturday in 2022, so let me not misspeak, but it is the first Saturday that I'm doing my sound off. So please feel free to share. You all know this is live on Facebook, it's live on Instagram, and it's also on YouTube. So sometimes if you have trouble with one of those apps, I have found when other people go live sometimes that if you go to the YouTube feed, it's better. So if you have a problem or if there are any problems, let me know. But if you have a problem, sometimes going to the the YouTube feed works a lot better. So hello. Welcome to Sound Off Saturday. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And y'all leave the people alone who are saying Happy New Year's. Leave them alone. I know it's not Happy New Year's. I know it's only one new year, but maybe they want to have more than one Happy New Year. I don't know. Leave people alone. The grammar police, I want the grammar police in 2022 to just take a breather. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't help correct people if they need some guidance, but I want the grammar police to take a deep breath in 2022 and somehow find ways that we can help correct people without making them feel so bad, okay? I know it's not Happy New Year's. I know it's not. I know it's not Happy New Year's. It's only one. It's Happy New Year. But some of you all are very mean about it. Why y'all so mean about it? Why? No, I'm okay. I like it like this. Why y'all so mean about it? Telling people it's not Happy New Year's. Drop the S. Stop being so mean. Grammar Police, we can help people. I'm trying to think of who's the girl on Instagram that does the grammar. I love her. Cleotrapa is her name. I am Cleotrapa. Y'all know her. She's the one that gets on there and tell people to stop saying things like mines versus mine, you know. I love her. I really do. She's hilarious. But some of y'all go way too hard on the grammar, okay? And again, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, so I know the importance of the possessive pronoun. I know the importance of the apostrophe S, the difference in that versus the S at the end for possession. I understand all of those things. Mine versus mine, your, you know, two, and two. I get it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't help people, but I'm saying, if you are a part of the Grammar Police, I just want you to take a deep breath and realize that some people did not pay very close attention during those times in their schooling. And because they didn't, it spills over into adulthood. And even into adulthood, some habits are hard to break, right? For example, a habit that's hard for me to break is to not put two spaces after you know, when you're spacing on the keyboard after a sentence. I don't care that the new rule is one space. Hey, Naya, I had to get this together just a little bit, and I need to do some more trimming. Okay, I need to do some more trimming, get it trimmed up real good, because it's been a while since I've cut it. But listen, I'm just saying, like, if you are a part of the Grammar Police, I want you to take a deep breath and give people some space, okay? Just allow them. It's okay. It's okay if they don't get every single thing right all the time, okay? I'm going to still put two spaces in my writing after a sentence. I don't care what the new rule is. So when I go back to school to get my doctorate degree, because that has already been prophesied in my life that I will be getting my doctorate degree. More than one person told me that. So when I go back to school to get my doctorate degree, I hope wherever I'm going, be it Howard University, VUU, wherever it's going down, George Mason, I hope they're ready for that double spacing. Because that's something I can't let go. We've been double spacing. I was born in 1980. They've been double spacing before then. Now all of a sudden you want us to switch in our brain that we don't need those two spaces after a sentence. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to give you two spaces. And when you get the document from me, if it's in editable format, if you would like to, come on, Mike, put it in the atmosphere. Doctor, I like it. But if I send you a document and I have two spaces at the end of my sentences and it is in editable format, and you want me to enable editing, you want to delete all of my double spaces and make it single, go right on ahead. Whatever makes you happy, honey. Okay? All right, let's get into it, y'all. I got my handy dandy notebook here with my thoughts. I got my cup with a little something to sip on. Yeah, still my Christmas cup. This is one of my favorite cups. Can I tell y'all about this cup really quick? I have a friend, Eileen Crowther, that we used to work together at my school in Prince William and Manassas. And this year, I believe she gave me this cup for Christmas, or either this is the year that I bought these cups for all of my friends, and I liked it so much that I kept it, and it's fading out a little bit, but that's okay. I still like it. It's my favorite cup. And I have some materials here that I want to show y'all if you want some good reading material for this year. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. There were some things that I thought about in the card that I didn't write on my paper. So give me a second while I write them down, because I surely don't want to forget these things as I'm talking about them. Okay, let's start off with how we ended the year. Can we do that real quick? I know that y'all don't want to bring up 2021, right? Because we're in 2022. It's a new year, it's a new season, the new day, fresh anointing flowing my way, right? All of that. Everybody wants to be, it's new. Everything is new. It's new, it's new, it's new, it's new. Oh man, my Instagram people, please don't. I got to remember that y'all can see all of me down here. So let me just turn the camera up a little bit so y'all don't have to see everything down here. Anyway, so we ended the year, December 31st, 2021, on some pretty interesting notes. Okay. First and foremost, hey Shantae, first and foremost, we lost the last Golden Girl. Okay. Can we have a brief moment of silence for Betty White and Sidney Poitier right now? Very brief. We lost some giants. Okay. The first giant we lost was before the new year even came in. We lost Betty White. We lost one of the Golden Girls. Okay. The last Golden Girl to pass away. And here's a quick fact, because it's not a fun fact. Here's a quick fact. All of the Golden Girls passed away a year after each other. I know I'm going to misspeak, and y'all know I'm a fanatic, so me getting this wrong is unacceptable, right? But I believe it went Estelle Getty, B. Arthur, Rue McClanahan. In other words, Sophia, Dorothy, and Blanche. 2008, 2009, 2010. As far as them passing away, I believe. And again, that's back to back. So in other words, we haven't had a Golden Girl alive. She's been the last one alive since the last one passed, 2011, 2010, I believe, or 10, 11. So Rose is gone, y'all. And I know it was like, dang, could 2021 end any worse when you took a whole Golden Girl from us? Betty White was turning 100 on January 17th, 3 days before my birthday. Not only was she turning 100 then, but there are so many grandiose plans and things celebrated. You see, People magazine had already published her turning 100 even before she did. The magazines came out. You know, there's a Golden Girls conference in April in Chicago, somewhere in Illinois. It's a Golden Girls Comic-Con conference that my mom and I are going to figure out how we can get to. But there's so many things. Like, everybody was just looking forward to the big celebration of Betty White. And then I saw somebody post something that said, you know what, these people need a fresh year. This was Betty White talking, and somebody drew out a cartoon character, and it says, people need a fresh year and a fresh start. I'm gonna go ahead and slip away before 2022 comes, so I don't ruin the new year for everybody. And I was like, oh man, I didn't want to see it like that. But anyway, Betty White is gone, y'all. Betty White is gone. Betty White was called the first lady of television. And I know that's surprising for some people who know about like Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, and things like that. But Betty White was called the first lady of television because of the different things that she did in TV. She, between the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the Golden Girls, All in the Family. You know, she had a variety show. She had a radio spot that was also on TV. She did a lot in TV, and she was executive producing and directing and doing a lot of things way before her time. As a matter of fact, the black man that she had on her show, Mr. Duncan, you know, that people fought vehemently against, that she eventually told, get over it. I want him on my show. He's going to be there every day. I want him to be there. And she broke so many records and did so many groundbreaking things. And the reason I brought that up and want to say that too is because a lot of people keep talking about, you know, excusing racists and their behaviors because they grew up in that time. Y'all go with me here, because I'm getting ready to get serious for one quick second, right? We talk a lot about, well, that's just a time people grew up in. That's just the way of the world then. That's just the way things were. Well, Betty White grew up in that time. Okay? She grew up in that time, yet she chose to not be a racist. And I don't profess to know every single intricate detail of her life, okay? But in all these years, we didn't hear about no scandals. We know that she was one of the first white women, and white people, but definitely white women, to have a black male on her show with a specific spot with his entertainment. So all I'm saying is we cannot excuse racist behavior because it's that time. Are you telling me that if you were not a racist and you lived in a time where everyone was a racist, that's what you're just going to be? No. So there's no excuse. And I like that meme. That's why I shared it on my Facebook page. I like that meme about, you know, Betty White grew up in that time also. you know, but we don't see and hear these stories coming out of who she was. So it's not an excuse that just because you grew up in a certain time period. There are a lot of people who grew up when you know, Black people were thought of as, you know, less than human, et cetera, and they didn't necessarily feel that way and think that way or behave that way or participate in those things. Okay, in other words, I mean, if they were, you know, they were having like hanging parties back then and stuff. If I wasn't someone who liked to see people get lynched or hung, I wasn't just gonna go because that's the way of the world. That doesn't really apply to being a racist. We can't say, oh, well, these are racist times, so you had to be a racist back then. No, because we're talking about someone's morality, someone's character, right? And so, you know, who you are cannot be so easily changed or skewed just because that was the time. Now, I do know that, you know, that saying, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? That didn't really apply here. Okay, that didn't really apply here. You know, that's like if I go and begin living in a European country where everything is done on the left that was traditionally done on the right in America, I do have to adjust, and that's going to be a big adjustment. Okay, but that's not the same thing as if everybody over here is all racist, then I'm just going to be racist too, because that's the way it goes here. That's not the same thing. So I digress. I'm just making the point of Betty White grew up in that time too. And there are a lot of people who grew up in that time who are not racist. It is not an excuse for anyone to be racist just because they grew up in that time. It is not an excuse. The end. So then we turned a corner into 2022. And then we lost another legend, a huge legend in Sidney Poitier. Because when you say his name, you have to say Sidney Poitier. You have to say it like you are Diane Carroll in Dynasty. You just can't say it any old way. Hi, Mova. Good to see you. Thank you, Michelle. And so, another significant giant, the things that Sidney Poitier did, the groundbreaking performances, man, in the heat of the night, it's the face slap for me, okay? It's the backhand for me. It's one thing to get slapped like this, but it's another thing for somebody to come back across. This slap is personal. A backhand slap is personal. Face slap, anybody can do that because people can catch you off guard. But when you backhand somebody, you meant business. You mean business. You mean business. So it's the backhand for me, for Sidney. And just so many, so much of a repertoire or a filmography. That's what I'm trying to say. A filmography, you know, just a list of him in TV and in the movies. And the groundbreaking things that he did, breaking through the Oscar wall of Black actors not getting, you know, the recognition and the nods that they get. An incredible person. And so those are two big giants. So it made me start to think about, you know, we got the Morgan Freemans of the world. You know, I'm thinking about all of our legends that are really up there in age. You know what I'm saying? The Stevie Wonders, the Patti LaBelle's, the Gladys Knights. These folks are like 85 and up. Okay, which is it's just a little shaky. I just hope that they have all that they need and the support, and that they're staying close around people and all of that. And there is no. There's been no confirmed issues that Betty White had, nor Mr. Poitier, that we know that caused their passing. I mean, but Betty White was 99, Sidney Poitier was 94. So, you know, when you're talking about up in that age, a lot of things can happen, right? So they are definitely gone, and definitely sad. And I'm sure there's going to be tons of celebrations to come. And then listen, Mom, Gladys Knight is, look it up. I want everybody to look up Gladys Knight's age and Patti LaBelle's age right now, because I remember specifically on the verses them talking about their age. I want you to look it up right now and put it in the comments. I can't look it up because I'm using all my devices up in here to run on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I can't look it. I want you to look it up right now, put it in the comments. Look it up. Look, I want you to look it up, put it in the comments. Tina Turner. Oh man. Anyway, let's keep going. And then on New Year's Eve, let me go back to New Year's Eve right quick. And then on New Year's Eve, I don't know how many of y'all have been watching CNN these last couple years, but don't forget to put Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle's age in the comments, Mom. If you don't watch CNN on New Year's Eve, I don't know exactly what you're doing on New Year's Eve. These last couple years, honey, Don Lemon, Andy Cohen, and Anderson Cooper have been letting their hair down. They have been letting their hair down in a way that the world has been in love with. Okay, Tina Turner is 80, but I want us to look up Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle and put their ages in the chat because my mom is saying that I'm wrong, and I don't think so because on that verses, they were very clear about their ages. I want to know how old is Gladys Knight and how old is Patti LaBelle. Okay, so Don Lemon, Andy Cohen, and Anderson Cooper, honey, they have been letting their hair down. Gladys Knight is 77. They have been letting their hair down in such a way you have never seen before. Okay, they were turned all the way up. Okay, Gladys is 77. Okay, how old is Patti? But listen, I'm here for it. I don't know. People have their own vices. People like to see. I'm not saying that I like to see people in a drunken stupor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's funny to see people blasted and whatnot. But what I'm saying is I do enjoy seeing people with their hair down. But Mike, you missed to see it in real time was crazy. It was crazy. Thank you, Deshay, my sorority sister. Okay, Patti is 77, Gladys is 77, Tina is 80. I misspoke. My apologies. I thought both of them were already at least 80. I knew Tina would, but I didn't know about. Okay, so let me move back on. Don Lemon has been letting his hair down for the last few years, okay? And he has been showing his whole behind, not in a literal sense, but he's been acting a fool. But Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper this year, listen, Anderson Cooper was so blasted that all he could do was laugh and cough almost the entire segment. That whole last hour leading up to New Year's, all he was doing was laughing and coughing. Y'all know Anderson Cooper from CNN. And Andy was so blasted. He was talking so loud. His voice was leaving away from him. And then at one point, Anderson and Andy panned off to Regina King. And Regina King looked like she was at maybe some kind of party or something. She was sitting on the couch and they were interviewing her. And Regina King was definitely buzzed. Now, she wasn't tore up, but she was definitely buzzed. Because of the way she sounded and was talking. It was one of those, yeah, y'all. And she was like, what are we drinking? It was that kind of situation. But and then they put Jack Kay in with her too. Oh, listen, it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. And then Andy Cohen from the Housewives franchise, from Watch What Happens Next, okay, went completely off on Mayor de Blasio from Mike, stop. He went completely off on Mayor de Blasio in New York, okay? He was talking about how funny he looked dancing and how ridiculous it was and how he was glad that he would never see his face again dancing and how terrible of a mayor he was. He went completely off on de Blasio. And at that point, Ryan had this much voice left. You see my finger? I got two different cams. You see that? This is how much voice Andy Cohen had left at that point. He was singing, he was like, and de Blasio, I am so glad that we don't ever have to see you again, ever. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's going to get in trouble. And the funny thing is, he did get in trouble because they are saying that they're not going to let him do the New Year's Eve spot again. I don't believe that because ratings have never been higher since when Andy, Anderson, and Don have been peeling back the layers and getting blasted on TV. But the funny thing is, they said that they were going to let him do it again because of his rant against the mayor. So it didn't matter that he was blasted this whole time, all of these other spots, and he was going crazy and doing. It only mattered what he said about the mayor, who's not even the mayor anymore. It's Andre. What is his name? Oh, I might be mixing up the Atlanta guy, but it's the black guy. Anyway, the point is, people are watching New Year's Eve now on CNN because of them. Because who else? Why would anyone else be watching CNN for your New Year's Eve celebration? Let's be real serious here. CNN is not the spot. CNN is not the place to watch when you want to party and it sounds fun, because CNN is not necessarily a fun place. Most people are watching ABC, NBC, they're watching all these other spots that are doing the New Year's Eve shows. But the reason people have been tuning in to CNN these last few years is because of Andy Cohen, Anderson Cooper, and Don Lemon. And I'm talking about as a package deal. So them taking Andy off would be detrimental. Now, we still gonna watch because Don still has his spot. But Anderson and Andy being together is the pair. It's the pair. So it's the three of them and it's the combo. Otherwise, everybody's just gonna tune back into NBC, ABC, and everything else. We certainly ain't watching Fox, But the point is, they saying that now. When they go back and look at those ratings charts for these last few years, they've been letting, because Andy has been getting blasted every year. Anderson been getting blasted every year. Although this year, I think he pushed it a little bit. Andy pushed him a little bit more. He did a few more shots this year than he's done before. And then Don has been getting blasted for these last few years. So he's going to be back. I ain't worried about it. And I mean, I'm not an Andy Cohen super fan. I mean, I don't not like him. Andy Cohen's a messy housewife, and everybody knows that, right? Y'all know Andy Cohen's a messy housewife, and I wish they would go ahead and put a house husband show on for his folks so that he can go ahead and live in his truth and be the messy housewife that he's always wanted to be, because that's what he wants to be. But he can only be it on Watch What Happens Next, and he can only be it after he's been toasted a little bit. So the point is, he'll be back. He'll be back. I don't trust none of them when they say that, they may reprimand him, but he'll be back. Okay? He'll be back. All right, let's move on. The CDC has put out guidelines that has everybody buzzing and, everyone's cracking up, and the people don't even know what to do with themselves, okay? And you know what the CDC said at this point, and I don't blame them. The CDC said, do what you want to do. That's what they said. They were sitting in a room like this. Y'all, we've been trying to tell them. We've been trying to tell them to wear the mask. We've been trying to tell them social distance. And the other ladies over there, yeah, I'm going through the notes. I'm going through the notes from 2020, and this is what we said. This is what we said. I'm going through the notes, and Fauci said this, and Fauci said that. And you know what? They took their pen like this, and they said, forget it. Let these people do whatever they want to do. You know why? Because y'all do whatever you want to do anyway, right? The CDC has taken time to publish books and novels. I was looking for a little thing here. They have published pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of guidelines. And everybody that sees that information and knows that information exists ignores it. Now, am I saying the CDC does everything right? Does Fauci do everything right? Does the World Health Organization do everything right? Absolutely not. But here's the reality that we still have not faced in 2 whole years. And I want some people to grow up about this really quick. I'm going to help you grow up. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram, I want you to help your friends grow up about this, because it's not y'all, it's y'all friends. I want to help you grow up real quick about this. This pandemic is happening in real time. When things are happening in real time, things are going to change. They're going to discover, oh, that guideline didn't really work. Let's change it. Oh, that mask didn't really work. Let's change it. Oh, that one was not the best. Let's change it. Oh, the 6 feet rule was better than this. Let's change it. Things are going to change. So all of the people who are saying, well, they keep on changing their mind. They keep on changing their mind. It's because they're discovering new information. They are discovering new information. Cindy Taylor put the best comment right here on Facebook. This is my friend. She is a 2nd grade teacher. Science is fluid. I want y'all to grow up and learn something about education. I want you to learn something about science. Science is not always concrete in the moment. It's happening. Don't you know anything about the scientific method? Don't you know about testing a hypothesis? Don't you know about the dependent variables and the independent variables? Don't you know about data analysis? Do we not know about these things? Like, why are people getting so ballistic when things are changing and then calling people, he's a liar because she's a liar because she said this and listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me clearly. From my friend Cindy Taylor, science is fluid. It is happening in real time, people. We are learning things in real time. Do you understand that? Do you understand that every time a virus pops up, some kind of fish with 3 heads pop up, anything, we have to study this. We need time. We need time to figure it out, Mike. We can't act like as soon as something is discovered, we're going to have all the answers right then and there, because as smart as humans think we are, we still don't have everything figured out. So my point is, this is happening in real time. And all I'm saying is, you weren't listening to the guidelines anyway. So the CDC said, forget it. Go back to work in 5 days. Do what you want to do. Take the mask off. This is what they said. Don't get the vaccine. Because at some point, what can you do? You can't force it. In some cases, some things have been forced, and in other cases, it can't be forced. And they're not going to keep fighting with y'all. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. At the end of the day, people have to make the choices that they have to live with. And whatever choice you make is your choice, okay? But stop acting like science is so concrete and that it happens right now, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. The CDC said, forget y'all. Do what you want to do. That's what they say. All right, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's lighten it up a little bit. So, Taco Bell has chicken wings. Taco Bell has chicken wings. Now, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's been a long time since I've eaten Taco Bell. But Corey and I, over the break, we went to Taco Bell because we just had a craving and we were next to one. And hey, we all do. There's no judgment here on anybody who's still eating Taco Bell. I ain't no judgment here. You eat what you eat. You eat what you eat. Okay. Now, when we went to Taco Bell, they didn't have these chicken wings. I'm sorry, I'm putting on a lip gloss right here on the screen. They didn't have these chicken wings. But what I'm trying to figure out is, how come when I go to my local grocery store, because the primary pieces of chicken that I buy are wings and breasts. And I usually buy a pack of breasts like this, which I may get from like a BJ's, a Costco, a Sam's Club. But then I want wings. And preferably, I'm getting a little bit more picky with it because I don't like cutting through that bone and cutting the wing off and all of that. I want somebody that already broke it up. So in other words, I want the drums and the flats. And I'm trying to figure out how come is it that when I go to the store, I can't find chicken wings. The whole nation has had a chicken wing shortage since about October, November. Even before that, because my coworkers and I talked about it, to the point where one of my coworkers said if he saw chicken wings at the store, he would just go buy me a pack so I can throw them in my freezer because I like chicken wings. We eat a lot of chicken wings. We eat a lot of chicken, period. And don't even get me started on Black folks. I know that's being stereotypical, but the bottom line is the majority of Black people that I know, we eat wings. So the whole nation has a shortage on chicken wings, but Taco Bell introduces chicken wings. Now, one of two things could be happening here. One of two things. The first thing that could be happening is that they're using something other than chicken. Okay, because that would be crazy, right? So the first thing that can happen is that they use something other than chicken. I refuse to believe that. The second thing that could be happening, which is the more plausible thing, and this is why Wingstop is starting to use thighs, is that over the years, the chicken chains have really picked up. Okay, so it's not just your Popeyes and your KFCs anymore, or your Bojangles or your Roy Rogers, or, you know, I'm talking about all our places that are out here. It's not just your chains anymore. And if you're more local, like in Detroit, it's not just about, what are my places in Detroit that sell the wings? Captain J's, J&J. It's not just about these places now anymore, because what's happening is there are a lot of local places and chains that are capitalizing off of wings. So it's not even just the Buffalo Wild Wings of the world, or the Glory Days, or the Fridays, you know, the places with the wing dings, but you got the wing stops of the world now, right? There's a place in Manassas now called America's Best Wings or something. There are so many places that are opening that just sell chicken wings. This is what's happening. That the demand is now this big because it's the chains and it's our households. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to understand, how is that Taco Bell got the plug to introduce chicken wings? Because what I wanted Taco Bell to do is bring my Baja Beef Gordita back. I used to eat Baja Beef Gorditas at Taco Bell. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's the gordita bread with the beef, with the Baja sauce. This is when the Baja Blast Mountain Dew first came out. I'm dating myself. And Taco Bell was the only place that sold the Baja Blast Mountain Dew. Pepsi exclusively sold that flavor of Mountain Dew to Taco Bell. And then they created a Baja Beef Gordita because there's Baja sauce. Okay? I don't know what any of those, I don't know what Baja means. I don't care. Baja was aha delicious. That's all that I know. Okay? Then I found that Baja sauce in the grocery store. So I was like, oh, okay. It's Baja sauce, Mike. I don't even know what it means. BAGA. Okay? So all of a sudden, they don't have the Baja Beef Gorditas anymore. Now they got that cheesy crunch gordita for those of you who still eat Taco Bell. And that's the taco I got when Corey and I went not too long ago. They got that cheesy crunch gordita. And it has that bread, but then it has a hard shell smashed up in. I don't want that. It has a hard shell, some cheese, and the gordita bread, and then the Baja sauce on it. I don't want that hard shell in there, but they won't make it separately. So I have to get it, and then I had to take the hard shell off. And then I was reminded why I haven't eaten Taco Bell in like 11 years. Because of this. Because when they let go of my Baja Beef Gordita, I didn't really have anything else there that I liked. I mean, I can get down with a Nachos Bel Grande every now and then, but I don't want no beans. It's so many things. And plus, you know, and I'm not being boastful, but plus Corey and I really can cook. Like, we're good cooks. We are excellent cooks. So some of the things that I used to think was so good and so delicious, they really aren't. Because now that we cook as often as we do and as well as we do, and we've been cooking like this for years, but definitely I would say in the last 7-8 years, we've gotten significantly good with cooking, like that our neighbors and friends love it and everything like that, that it's hard to go back to eating some of this stuff because I just realized like this is not that good. But every now and then you have a craving. It is what it is. Every now and then you have a craving. And you do it. You know, again, I'm not saying this is something we regularly do. Every now and then I have a craving for a Whopper. I don't care. I don't care how people feel about it. Every now and then I have a craving for some McDonald's fries. Every now and then I have a craving for Wendy's nuggets. I'm very specific about what I want in different places. Every now and then I got a craving for them fake onion rings at Burger King. Even though I can make really, really good real onion rings in my house. It just is what it is. But the point is, the point I'm trying to make here is I'm trying to figure out how in the world Taco Bell can introduce a new item to their menu in the form of chicken wings when the whole world been short on chicken wings. And the whole world has been asking them to bring Mexican pizza back for years. And they have every ingredient available to make a Mexican pizza, and they refuse to bring it back. And so I want to know who asked Taco Bell to sell chicken wings. Who asked Taco Bell to sell chicken wings? That's not in your wheelhouse. It's not in your wheelhouse. The world loved Mexican pizzas, and you took away, and you lost a lot of people. Then you lost me when you took away the Baja beef gorditas. Then I started cooking. I was like, I don't need to be eating this anymore. I need to be eating what I know that I'm cooking, which is actually good. Anyway, yes, the fake onion rings at Burger King are pretty good in that zesty sauce, Cindy. So anyway, I follow two people on IG who went and tasted the wings. One of them, his name is Will. His name on Instagram is I am Will Johnson. Funny comedic influencer, kind of church funny guy. And he said that them chicken wings taste like the guest church made them. So in other words, he didn't like them. And then I follow another guy, Andrew Caldwell, who some of y'all may know as Mr. Delivered, who became internet famous, saying that he was delivered from a certain lifestyle. And I won't go into all of that, but he said he liked them. Either way it goes, I'm not going to get any chicken wings from Taco Bell because I'm upset that Taco Bell has access to chicken wings. And every time I go to the grocery store and buy chicken wings, they are far and few between. So I'm not going to patronize Taco Bell and these chicken wings. I'm not even going to act like I want to taste these chicken wings. If y'all tasted them and you know what they taste like, you let me know. But I'm mad because we can't even find chicken wings on a regular basis, and Taco Bell done added a whole new item. And that just is vexing my whole spirit. Okay? All right, let me go on here. The three men who stalked and killed Ahmaud Arbery have been sentenced, two of them to life without the possibility of parole, and the third one was sentenced to life or 30 years or something like that with the possibility of parole. So kudos to when the justice system gets one right. Kudos to the judge, the jurors, kudos to the prosecutors and everybody else who made that possible. And I'm gonna say this, kudos to the third dude. I know the father and son's name is McMichael, right? Greg and Travis, probably. I can't think of the third dude's name, don't even matter. But kudos to him, because I know a lot of people are saying he should have stayed his behind on the porch and stopped being nosy. This is what happened when you nosing around in people's business, right? When you don't mind your business. But kudos to him, because if he had minded his business, we probably wouldn't have this conviction, because he's the one that had everything on video. So sometimes it pays to be the nosy neighbor. Consequentially, it may not pay, but it paid for him to be the nosy neighbor in this case. So thank you for nosing around, Mr. Third Will. Thank you for putting your nose where it didn't belong. Thanks for jumping in a date where it didn't belong. Thank you for pushing play, camera roll. Thank you for participating in that, because had you not, these people would have probably gotten away with this. We already saw that DA was in the back pocket of the father and the son, and she wasn't going to do anything about it. She was excusing it. She was friends with him and friends with the police officer who, and all of those people were all connected. And so nothing would have happened. And this is the power of social media. This is the power of these videos. This is the power of putting things on blast. This is the power of these, some of the cancel culture kind of situation. And again, I don't agree with all of it all the time, but this is the power that we can have. The power of social media also got that young truck driver who was sentenced to 110 years in prison for his faulty truck brakes that did strike and kill someone. But that man was sentenced to 110 years in prison because of Colorado's stringent laws as it relates to manslaughter and homicide. And kudos, because of social media, the pressure was put on, and that this young man now has a chance. He has a chance. And they have since removed that 110-year sentence. It's been significantly reduced, which also means he has a chance at parole. Can you imagine the rest of your life being thrown away because the vehicle that you were driving had faulty brakes? And I'm not talking about your own car that you go get checked out. I'm talking about the company vehicle. But social media has that kind of power, and I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. In some cases, social media may be a little bit too invasive. It may put people on blast. It may embarrass some people. It may, it may do a lot of things. I would hate to be one of those people that's caught in a moment, where I was having some kind of some kind of moment and it was caught on tape and then it put it on social media and it was blasted. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something about that really quick. The reality is this: if you have good friends, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff being blasted on social media. We talking about that? If you have the right people around you and the right people in your circle, they're not going to let something like that leak out on you. It's the people who want to capitalize off of your pain or your tragedy or your drunken stupor or you slipping up saying something. It's the people that's got it out for you that allow these things to actually slip out. So all of those people who post things that their friends do that end up getting them in trouble or end up getting them fired or end up getting them whatever. Some of it is because they really don't get it because they're ignorant, but some of it is because they really had it out for you and you thought they were really your friends. There are some friends that everybody should have when y'all around each other. Well, what you do in Vegas stays in Vegas, okay? Even if you did record it. Your good friends are not going to put it out there. They're not going to do anything to jeopardize your livelihood, your career, your longevity, anything that you do, which is what spills me into Tami Roman and the Real World. Because for those of you who know about the Real World from 100 years ago, 30 years ago at this point, one of the points that Tami Roman was making, and I'm going to tell you who she is if you don't know, in relationship to David. Mike, what is David's last name? You know the comedian David? I can't think his last name, but Tami Roman's whole point in how she's handling and dealing with David is not that she afraid of David. It's not that she afraid of confronting him or dealing with him, but she has too much at stake. Tami Roman has been on multiple TV shows and spots. She's had some comedy spots. She's had some things. She's helped write some things behind the scenes. She's helped produce some things. She has podcasts and stuff going. And at some point when you get to a certain level, and I'm not saying Tami Roman is way wherever she is, but she is at a certain level, there are some things that you can't and that you shouldn't try to really handle by yourself because it could affect your livelihood. And her whole point is if she jump and pounce up on David, she's going to end up, hi, Fuchs. I'm so glad you're on here. I've been praying and 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 praying for you. I'm talking about Tami Roman. Thank you. It's been a long time since I straightened my hair like this and I need to clip my ends, which is why that was my whole goal in straightening this today because I really need to cut my ends. I really want to cut off about 2-3 inches, maybe 4, maybe like up to like right here. I think I want to cut off about this much, and give that a new growth perspective. Anyway, but what I was saying about Tami Roman is that's the reason she's not doing what she used to do. Tami from Basketball Wives, Tami from all these different things. That's the reason she's not doing what she could do because she don't want to mess up her livelihood. So for those of you, Mike, I know you and my mom, my cousin, I'm only talking about this much hair. Can y'all see that? I only want to cut off about 3 or 4 inches. Just to give I'm gonna tell you something though about my hair. It grows back really fast. So I've never really been one that's been afraid to cut my hair. It grows back really fast. But this last little bit of color from when I used to dye it, because I don't dye it anymore. I rinse it now, which is why you don't see too much gray. But this last little bit of color is coming on down here. It's coming on down here. And I just need to get it out. All right. Everybody's saying, oh my God. Okay. Let me go to Tami Roman. Y'all know Tami Roman from the Real World from like 30 years ago, right? She's also on Basketball Wives. Tami Roman has the Bonnet Chronicles podcast. She's been on the Miss Pat show. She's been on some other shows I can't think of the name of right now. But anyway, the Real World reunion has been on. It's on Paramount Plus. And for those of you who used to watch it, Tami and David, Mom, I'm not putting you in. My mom is trying to go live with me to tell me not to cut it. I'm not doing it. Anyway, Tami Roman and David. David was a comedian. I can't think of his last. Mike, do you know who I'm talking about? Do you all remember the trilogy House Party? Okay, House Party is like my favorite comedic trilogy, right? House Party 1, 2, and 3. Even a little bit more than Fridays, if I'm being honest. But anyway, Do you remember the guy on the third house party who played? His name was Stinky. He plays because David Edwards. Gosh, I can't. Yes, that's him. Tammy Roman and David Edwards had beef from the very first Real World. Okay, there was a scene on the original Real World when they were living in the house where Tammy was like under the covers, right? And David was messing with her, but David was always messing with everybody, right? And he was just being messy or whatever. And he was gonna pull the covers off of her. But she didn't have any clothes on under there. Now, they weren't like being intimate or anything. This was just him being stupid. Anyway, that whole exchange between Tammy and David, people basically say is what killed David Edwards' comedic career. Okay. Some of you may not even know who I'm speaking of, and that's okay, but it's just something to talk about. But basically, Tammy Roman, I do feel that a lot of that I do feel that somehow she was a little responsible for the detriment of his career. I'm not saying that he was right for what he was doing, but I am saying that I think it went a little bit too far. And as a result, his comedic career never went anywhere. I mean, he was in movies and stuff around that time in the 90s, like I mentioned with House Party. But after that, he was ghost. And it's all because of that. So anyway, 30 years later, everybody is still salty. And David and Tammy are still salty. They've been arguing and fighting in this house ever since. And basically, I think it's just because David is bitter. He's sore that his career went nowhere. Anyway, I think that he's really bitter and sour because his career never went anywhere, and he attributes his demise to that situation with Tammy on the Real World 30 years ago. So the Real World reunion is happening now. Just catch you all up. The Real World reunion is happening right now. They're all back in the house together. All of these folks, ridiculous, right? And everybody over 40 at this point, you know, some of them over 50, maybe, or they look like it. But they're in the house cutting up, okay? And the funniest thing that happened recently is that one of the guys, and I can't think of the other guy's name, but one of the guys he was telling them about it, and it's a white male. He was telling them when he was out with his friend one day, how someone called his friend the N-word. But when he was telling the story, he didn't say the N-word. He actually said the word. Okay. And Tammy was upset about him saying it. And her point was when you want to say that word, you don't actually say, you need to say the N-word or spell it or whatever. And he was getting upset with her saying, well, when he called my friend that, basically he called me that too. You know, she's like, no, it ain't the same. And you still don't get a pass to say it. And she went off on him about saying that word. And I know that this is a touchy subject for a lot of people. So I don't really I'm not here to get into the specifics of who gets to say the N-word or not. But Tammy's point was well taken. And it's understood. And then, oh man, what is her? Why am I drawing a blank on these people's names in the house? I used to watch The Real World. What's the lady's name? What is the Latina lady name? The cop. She jumps up and says, yeah, because you don't know what it means you don't know what it feels like to be caught in, and she says it. And then Tammy turns around and looks at her. This is my cigarette. Look, with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth like this. And she turned around and looked at her and say, you don't say it neither because you Latina. And listen, the internet has been a buzz. Why am I drawing a blank on these people's names? And I used to know these people's names because I watched The Real World. Wait, this is her cigarette. And she said, you don't say it either because you Latina. And that meme is going to save me in 2022. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Anytime that I feel like crying, anytime that I am upset, anytime that I am stressed out, anytime I feel like someone has done me wrong, anytime that I feel like I don't know where the money is going to come from, anytime I feel like I can't make it, I am going to go back to that meme with Tammy doing like this, with that cigarette hanging out of her mouth, looked like she was getting ready to go in the garage and fix somebody's carburetor. Do you hear me? And that cigarette hanging out her mouth was as long as this lip gloss right here, because it was a Capri. Y'all know the Capris are long cigarettes. I mean, I'm not saying I know a whole lot about cigarettes. I'm not a smoker. But I know the Capris are long, just like Virginia Slims, right? And Tammy made it very clear, you know, she don't smoke certain cigarettes are too hard for her. Them Newports and Marlboros and stuff are too hard for her. But anytime that I feel somehow discouraged, I'm going to find that meme and I'm going to laugh until it hurts, because that meme has kicked off 2022 for me in a way. It just reminds me that I'm going to laugh until it hurts to get over stuff. I'm going to find the joy in something, even if the things around me are not joyful. So I just want to thank Tammy Roman publicly for giving it to us, okay? Because she has already given it to us. This reunion is already a hot mess. And then Mr. Cowboy turns around and he says, well, I'm from Alabama and I have black colored kids in my house right now. What? I mentor kids and I have black colored kids in my house right now back in Alabama. Black colored kids? What years? I said, what year is this? You're referring to children that you mentor as black colored kids? Tammy was too through by then, and she said, well, I sure hope you don't call them black colored kids. I mean, Tammy ain't gonna make it in this house, y'all. Tammy ain't gonna make it in this house. She ain't gonna make it in this house, because between all of them fools in the house and David being a fool times 3, I thought about that too, Mom, that he's probably only mentoring them kids to get some money. And it probably got something to do with football anyway. He probably got them kids in there mentoring them for some other purposes. But between all these people in this house and David, Tammy ain't gonna make it without slapping somebody. So she had to put her husband, Reggie, on standby. She had to put her husband, Reggie, on standby for David, because when she feel like she want to pounce, she can't do that. Again, she has achieved a certain level of where she is and in her success, and she just can't walk around here fighting people, you know, smacking people. It's just like, y'all know the sketch that Key and Peele used to do for Obama? It's kind of the same thing. You know, when you get to a certain level, you kind of need like those angry people, you know, or this other person over here that's going to say it for you or do it for you, because you can't do it. You know, unfortunately, like the mob would act. You know, sometimes it's the big bosses didn't do all the dirt. There's too much attention on them. They're too busy running it all. They got to have the little guys around here that can do it. So anyway, I digress. Let me move on. I'm going to say one quick thing about Antonio Brown, and then I'm going to walk away. Because I have been watching sports almost all my life. I've been watching players like Antonio Brown almost, all of my life, ever since he's been in the league. I've never not been a fan of his. I've never been like a fan, but I've never not been a fan of his. I've never been a hater of his or anything like that. But I am going to say this, and then I'm going to leave it alone, because I don't really know where I stand on the entire Antonio Brown situation. But I do think that one thing we have to do is we have to realize that the mental health umbrella does not fit everybody. And I'm not saying that this even applies to AB. I'm just making general comments. There are some people in this country who have undiagnosed mental health issues, be it depression, be it bipolar, be it schizophrenic, be it whatever. And we know that because of their behavior. And we watch the patterns of behavior. And now that we know better, right? And the NFL knows better as it relates to CTE now and different things like that, these players spend a lifetime getting beat up on. And we're just now learning in the last few years how much that impacts them. You understand what I'm saying? How much it really impacts them that you were hit constantly and knocked down and beat up, with the exception of kickers and quarterbacks who don't take that kind of beating in the NFL. And in some sports, you don't get that kind of bruising. You don't get that in the NBA. You don't get it in soccer. You don't get it, but football is still American football is still a very harsh and barbaric sport that causes a lot of injuries that are unseen and undiagnosed. And there's no doubt in my mind, especially as a special education teacher, I would be a fool and I would be a hypocrite to be denying that there are cognitive, mental, issues that affect people that we cannot always see and that we don't always see consistently. But there are some that show up in patterns, and it helps us to deal with them. Period. That's one statement. My next statement is this. Some people are just fools, and some people are foolish, and some people have behavior issues, and some people like to act out, and some people like attention, and some people just live their life like this. And the tricky part is knowing when to put people in those categories, right? Knowing when someone is just being a fool and wants attention, and when someone is doing something as a result of something that we don't truly yet understand and maybe truly are not even taking seriously. Players play through injuries all the time. Does that make them a hero? Not necessarily. Does it make the NFL a villain? In some ways, sure. But these are also grown people who can make a decision and say, I don't want to play like that, even if you tell me I'm going to play like that, and I'm leaving. There's all sorts of moving parts here, okay? I'm going to tell you something, though. What I know about Antonio Brown came way before this last hit that everybody has been talking about that he had. Okay. And again, I'm not saying, hey, oh my gosh, Bishop Daremore is on here. Bishop, good to see you. And so all I'm saying is we don't always know if it's a mental issue. We don't always know if this could be attributed to somebody's pattern of behavior, or if somebody is just out here being a fool and acting a fool. And what I'm saying is there are groups of people that are on both extremes with Antonio Brown. There are groups of people over here that feels like this is a fool and he's being foolish. And there's groups of people over here that are worried about the CTE aspect of the NFL and are worried about if some of these hits that Antonio Brown has taken over the years could very much have an impact on his behavior. There are groups. And usually people fall in one of these two groups. I happen to fall in the middle on this issue. Okay? Because what I do feel like is that a lot of people are getting to the point where they are asking for help to change their behavior. And if you're not asking for help, then you are asking also, unfortunately, for some of these consequences to come your way that may or may not be justified if you would get the help you need for the things that you need. Okay. And I think that there have been times when Antonio Brown has been offered a lot of help in a lot of different ways. I'm in the middle of these two groups, and I'm not going to debate with anybody about it. I think that there are a lot of people out here that need help that would refuse help, even if it was free, even if it came to their house, even if it fixed them dinner and ran them a bath. Okay? There's a lot of people that will refuse help because they don't think they have a problem. But the problem is when you don't think you have a problem, when you don't think you need help, when you don't think that you are the issue, when you don't think there's anything wrong, then what happens is you suffer from the consequences of the behavior. And Antonio Brown understands that last sentence that I just said. You understand what I'm saying? He understands the last sentence that I just said. And that is, if you don't get help for the things you need help for or from, things that are vexing you, things that are holding you back, that are stressing you, that are whatever, causing you to behave irrationally, then you also open yourself up to the consequences of the behavior that you're refusing the help for. And that is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm in teaching mode. That's what my mom said. I'm in teaching mode. I am a special education teacher, okay? And I am also a political science major. I am all into politics. And so there's a political aspect of this. I don't believe that some of people's responses to him simply have to do with him just being a Black man, because there are some other Black men who have expressed mental issues that have been accepted and have been worked through. Dak, Zeke, right? So I just think that when you have a history, and then even if something happens that skews that history, and then we have this aftermath, then there are going to be people that fall in the in-between like me. And that's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying here. I wish Antonio Brown the best. I wish the NFL the best. And I really wish that people could get help if they need help. But people have to want help, and they have to accept help. You can't beat somebody over the head with help. You understand what I'm saying? So, Mike, I'm trying to break it down to the last denominator here. Okay, I'm trying to bring it down to the last denominator. 1/3 is as low as I can go. You understand what I'm saying? 1/3 can't be broken down anymore. I'm trying to get it down to that last little bit, because there's a lot of discussion about it. And at the end of the day, do we really know where he falls on either one of these spectrums that I just told you about? No, we don't, unless you know him personally and unless you are actually in his life. We don't actually know. We are only conjecturing. That's all that we're doing. We're only discussing it and talking about it because it's Sound Off Saturday, and that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. All right. Let's see here. I got one more. I had one more thing to talk about before I show y'all my books, to talk about 2 TV shows, and I'm out of here because I'm a little bit over my time. So thank you for those who are just joining. Thank you for those who have been hanging on me. Facebook is booming today. Y'all are out here. Thank you so much. So really quick, there is a Black man by the name of Brian Karn who has called himself a prophet. He is in the church world. He is somebody who prophesied that Donald Trump will win the election that he lost. Brian Karn, almost all of my life, has been known to be a fool, period. He has been known to be a fool in church, and people still follow him. They still give him money. They still go to his church. He is one of those, what people would call kind of pimps in the pulpit, what false prophets, et cetera, et cetera. He's not somebody that I follow, but he's definitely someone I pay attention to, because I want to know what new shenanigans Brian Karn is up to. I do not care for Brian Karn at all. And I absolutely can accept when people are wrong and people deserve grace and people deserve mercy. But I have a very strong disdain for preachers and pastors and leaders who act the way that Brian Karn act and lead people down destructive paths and take people's money and lie to them and all. I have a strong disdain for those people. And he is one of them. And he has been seen twice in this year acting a fool. So 2022 is going to be the year of the fool, is what I'm going to call it. And every time I see this kind of stuff, you know what my statement is? Close church again. Did you hear me? Close church again. Because apparently people didn't learn when church was closed how to behave. Close it again. Because people like him are the reason people don't go to church. People like him are the reason that people can't get with the gospel and can't believe in the gospel and don't want to follow. Because it's people like this. And I don't care what y'all say. Well, you ain't supposed to go to church for the person. You ain't supposed to do this. Yeah, but who's the first person you meet? The first person you meet at church ain't Jesus. The first person you meet at church is Brian Karn. The first person you meet at church is the mean usher. The first person you meet at church is the mean greeter. The first person you meet at church is the person who tell you in their seat. So we can say that people are supposed to come to the church for certain things all we want to. But the reality is people don't come to church initially for the right things, and that's fine with me. You can come to our church if you're looking for a man. You can come to our church if you happen to just be crushing on one of the choir members. You can come to my church if you like the peanut brittle that we sit outside the door. You can come to my church if you just like the color of our carpet. You can come to my church if you like the way that we fry chicken wings. You know why? Because when people come, it ain't about what they came for. I'm about to preach and you didn't even ask for this. Somebody put my Cash App up here. It's not about what you came to church for, but it's about what you get when you're there. I'm already here. I'm already here. Turn the mics up. I'm already here. I don't care about why people come to the church. You can come to church because you crushing on the pastor if you want to. We married, but come on. Come on if you want to, because when you get here, the spirit that's supposed to be up in here is the spirit that's going to transform you. So I don't mind you coming for the wrong reasons. And what I'm trying to tell you is Brian Carn and people like that are a detriment to the house of God because people are coming for that and they're coming to see that. You understand where I'm going with this? It ain't about it's not about a person like him, but for some people it is about him. Some people go to Brian Carn's church for this foolery. They go to it for this behavior, maybe in hopes that they'll get on social media. Anyway, my point is this: he done made 2 boo-boos or faux-pas already in 2022. Number one is he was praying for a lady at the altar that apparently he wanted her to fall. Y'all know how the preachers get up there, they put their hand on your head, they want you to fall on down and all of this. And he got mad at the lady because she didn't fall. And he told her, why you got your knees locked? Why you come up here if you don't want to get delivered, you don't want to get healed? Sir, if what you were doing was true, knees locked ain't gonna stop nobody from falling out. If somebody gonna fall out, they gonna fall out whether their knees knocked or they ain't got no knees or locked or whatever, right? That's the first faux pas. The second one is he threw something at a musician who was not playing. And these are in actual services. These are not at practices or anything. He threw something at a musician. All I'm saying, and I know some crazy things happen in church. I've been in church all my life. I have seen some crazy stuff happen in church. You don't even want to know. I could do a whole segment on the crazy things I've seen happen at church, from fights to whatever. But the whole point is this. Those people are not only a detriment to the church and the body of Christ, but those people are people that I'm afraid of, because you obviously don't even fear God for you to be acting like that. You can't fear God. You can't. This God that you say you preaching for and teaching for and leading for, you obviously have no fear of that God, because that God that you're supposed to be fearing and you're supposed to be reverencing and teaching people about and leading people to is the same God you're using in the wrong way. And I just, it really just does something to me when I see that people still go to a church like that and still support a person like that. It really does. It's a mess. I ain't gonna get worked up about Brian Carn. He get on my nerves. And if any of y'all know who the cussing pastor is, his name is Thaddeus Matthew. If any of y'all, and I'm not saying he is the cussing pastor, that's his name. His name is the cussing pastor. And when I tell you he cusses, I kid you not. I'm talking about Def Comedy Jam cussing. I'm talking about Eddie Murphy Raw cussing. I'm talking about Richard Pryor cussing. I'm talking about Fred Sanford cussing. His name is the cussing pastor, Thaddeus Matthew. He was just arrested 3 days ago for something, and I got to find out what it was because it popped up on my timeline and I'm interested. It can't be because he cussed somebody out. He's been doing that all his life, or as long as he's been the cussing pastor. But he's a trip too. I don't know though. I would rather you be at Brother Thaddeus's church than to be at Brian Carn's church, if I'm being honest, because Brother Thaddeus ain't taking no money from you. He's just saying that this is how he is, right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, but he not one and the same. Anyway, I digress. I'm talking too much about those two people. All right, let me go through some stuff real quick. There's a special on called Women of the Movement. That also goes into the Emmett Till story. I hope you all check that out. I need to check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. Very important. Cobra Kai season 4 is out. My twins have already watched it without me. How ridiculous is this? I'm the whole reason that they even know that Cobra Kai even exists. And I watched all 3 seasons. And then they went and watched it. And season 4 came out a couple days ago. And they've already watched it. But Cobra Kai is excellent. I am always here for the nostalgia of Cobra Kai, of Karate Kid. I'm here for the nostalgia of anything. That's why I was crying at the theater on the new Ghostbusters movie, because I can't take it. Something about nostalgia, maybe because I'm getting old. I don't know. Mike, you watched it too? What do you think about this season? Just give me a quick comment, Michael, what you think about season 4 of Cobra Kai. Anyway, I got to get going on it because kids already watched it. Corey and I just finished You. Season 3. Have any of y'all been watching that? You with Joe? Joe the serial killer? Kind of like Dexter, but in a very different way. Have any of y'all been watching You? We just finished it the other day. And I will say this. I'm glad that You ended the way that it did. Oh, Mike, great and unexpected. Oh, I got to get on it. I got to get on it tonight. Anyway, You is on Netflix. Cobra Kai is on Netflix. Oh, Damila, I was sick of her. I ain't trying to spoil You for everybody, but I was done with her. I've been done with her. This whole season, I've been waiting for her to end some kind of way. But I see there's going to be another season. I'm like, where are we going with this next season? Y'all have to watch You. Mike, do you watch You on Netflix? You need to watch it if you don't already. And then a lot of people are talking about the Sandra Bullock movie Unforgiven. Is that what it's called? The Unforgiven? Is that what it's called? It's on Netflix. Sandra Bullock, she plays an ex-con. I watched it. I didn't really see the hype. Oh, Mike, you've got to watch You. It's called You. Y-O-U. It's on Netflix. You have got to watch it. You've got to watch it. Did you watch Dexter? You know, the serial killer that killed serial killers before. It's kind of like Dexter, but it's in a different way. It's a very different kind of story. But anyway, did y'all see the Sandra Bullock movie? Is it called The Unforgiven on Netflix? I watched it and it was okay. I think that she, Crystal, I got to get him in on it because I know Mike would love it. I know he would. I'm just not. I don't know. I wasn't as like over the hill with it as everybody else was talking about it. I just wasn't. It was okay. And Sandra Bullock definitely performed well. I mean, Sandra Bullock's a great actress. I don't ever take anything from her acting skills. I like Sandra Bullock. I just didn't think it was, I don't know. I tried. All right, and then books. I got some new books for the year. I got some books that I really need to get through, but I got Will's book right here. And as you can see, if you go to Target, you might catch it at 30% off. So instead of it being $19.95, I think, which is what it was, it, came in under that. No, it was cheaper than that because I was going to buy it on Amazon, but it was actually more on Amazon. I looked it up right when I was in the store. So I can't wait to dig into this. I like Will Smith. I know some of y'all tired of him and Jada, whatever, but I like Will Smith, and this just seems like a great book. This is a thick book, though. I didn't realize how long this book was. It has a lot of great pictures. I have a lot of great pictures and things in here. I can't wait to read it. This Joker is a smooth. Let me tell you how many pages it is. Ooh, child, this thing is 412 pages. 412 pages. Has a lot of good real life pictures in here of him and his family and stuff. he needed to get this out. You're right, Mike. He needed this for his soul. He needed to get. I love this cover though. I love not only did I love the cover, but I love the back because it reminds me of the Fresh Prince with the graffiti. I love that whoever did this cover, This is top notch. And then I got Tabitha Brown's book, which I had been wanting to get for the longest. Many of you know Tabitha Brown, social media influencer. She not only social media influenced her way into the spotlight, but she got a spot on the Shy TV show by Lena Waithe, or series, not TV show, because it's on Stars or HBO. She also now has she's a partner with a restaurant called Kale My Name, which is a vegan restaurant that was based out of Chicago, but they've opened an LA location. So I can't wait to dig into this. Feeding the Soul, because it's my business, finding our way to joy, love, and freedom. Very excited about that. Beautiful pictures. Tabitha Brown has just such a beautiful spirit. And then, this is what I've been waiting for. Professional Troublemaker by Lovey Ujayi Jones. Yes, the Fear Fighter, man. I can't wait to dig into this, honey, because I love me some Lovey Jones. This is Lovey Jones. For those of you who don't know her, you probably follow her or have seen her on social media commenting in some way, but I can't wait to get into this. It's going to be a workbook for me, okay? Because Professional Troublemaker is sometimes what I am. And I really like this. I like Lovey's spirit too. So it's got a little bit of balance here going on. Mike, what's this book you finished? 50s book, Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder. I'm going to check that out. And I have several books that are open upstairs that I need to close. Before I open any one of these, I got to finish Yvonne Origi's book. She is the character Molly from Insecure. Her book called Bamboozled by Jesus. And hey, Ramona. And I have to finish Amanda Seale's Small Doses. I'm not going to finish because her book is based on my mood. And that's not a one and finish kind of book anyway. And then there's one more book I got open. I think it's Gabby Gabori Sidibe's book. Don't Stare, This Is Only My Face, or something like that. But I like to have a bunch of books open at one time. So even though I have these 3 books that I've added to my library, I don't ever finish one book in its entirety before I go to the next, because my book reading depends on my mood. You know, I'm not always in the mood to read Amanda Seale's Small Doses. So that's why I opened the other book. I'm not always in the mood to read certain things. You know, you have to be in a certain mood to read certain things. So I like to have about 3 or 4 books open at one time. It's all based on my mood. Anyway, so I think those are the only books I wanted to show you. Yes. And the only shows I want to tell you about. Oh, we're waiting on, I don't know if you all have seen Raising Dion. Very cute show for the kids. It's about a superhero, a young Black boy who has these powers. Really good. Season 2 is coming on at the end of this month. We've been waiting for like 3 years for this. Maybe 3 years for this. The Ozark. Been waiting on the Ozark. Where my Ozark fans are. Where my Jason Bateman fans. Jason Bateman has revived himself single-handedly with the Ozark. That comes back on in February, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Corey just showed me the trailer earlier for it, but we didn't actually watch it. He just showed the trailer is out. Yeah. And here comes Taylor coming to show me something. So listen, I hope that you want to show the people?
I just want to show you.
What is it?
It's a drawing.
Taylor's coming in here to show me a drawing. So let me show you all too.
It took me so long to do.
Wow, look at this. Taylor drew this. Let me put it that's for the Facebook people. Let me put it to the IG people. Taylor drew this. Nice. This is her art book, her sketchbook that she got from one of her friends for her birthday, her 13th birthday. Pretty cool. Nice. So listen, it is a new year. If you want to make resolutions, make them. If you want to, whatever you want to do, whatever you need to do to enhance your life, do it. Whatever you need to do to make yourself a better person, to move better in this world, to be more kind, to show more love, whatever you need to do for self-improvement, do it, because tomorrow is not promised. I know many people who have lost their mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and cousins, and it's been a whirlwind. I really hope and pray that 2022 is significantly better. But we never know what it's going to be. hopefully we believe it's going to be better though. So thank you again to all of you who have supported Blessing Bags and Beyond. I cannot highlight that enough. I've received so much love and support for Blessing Bags and Beyond. I've been a little quiet about it lately because I'm waiting on some approvals. Because as you all know, some of you know, I received a grant from a local organization called No Child Goes Hungry, based out of Annandale, Virginia. And they've given me a grant to create a pantry box. So this will be a box that people could come get items for free from, be it free non-perishables, but also hygiene items. So I'm waiting on some approvals and permits for that. I've been doing a lot of paperwork, and that's a whole lot of work in and of itself. So I've been a little quieted about the bags and everything, but it's still going. If you're interested, I have Blessing Bags Beyond on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. You can reach out to me some way, shape, or form to donate. And that's about it, y'all. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do Sound Off Saturday every single Saturday in 2022. I have not decided that yet. Whatever I do, I want to do it consistently. I think the challenge is now that people are out and about, right? More that things could start to book up in my schedule. And so I'm thinking I'm definitely going to do 2 Saturdays. I'm definitely going to do 2 Saturdays, and hopefully also get back to my Leading Ladies series where I highlight, women who are leading in various areas and things like that. But I'm doing so much. I have so much in the works, and I'm learning not to be an oversharer because sometimes you put it out there and, you overshare and it's not, maybe it doesn't go the way you want it to do or whatever. And yes, these COVID numbers are getting crazy and ridiculous again. So all I can tell you is do the best you can, wear your mask, get the vaccine if you can, if you're choosing to. I just hope that we don't slip back to where we used to be. I just hope we don't slip back to where we used to be. Hey, Anaya, I hope we don't slip back to where we used to be. That's the last place we need to be. We don't need to be locked down all over again. We don't need to be shut down all over again. We don't need to be in this virtual learning space all over again. I mean, obviously we can adapt, but if we don't have to, I hope that we don't have to. Okay. Thank you. And I straightened my hair again so I can cut it. And people on here telling me don't cut it, but I want to cut about 3 or 4 inches off. But we'll see. Well, at least it's straight so I can cut it any day at any time. But I know, Shantae, it's looking like we're going to shut down again. And let me say this. It's the last thing I'm going to say as it relates to education and shutting down. The people who are choosing not to do the right thing are causing all of this shutdown and all this headache and heartache. So all the people who don't want schools shut down anymore, all the people who want all these businesses open again, you are going to be the cause of us going back to virtual learning. You're going to be the cause of us having to have groceries delivered. You're going to be the cause of all of this. Like, look, Shantae is listening at all. Virtual school, no groceries, carry out only, shut all the way down. All of these people who are refusing to do the right thing are the causes of, you're going to be the cause of these mandates. You are the cause of airlines shutting down. You're going to be the cause of all of these things. So I don't know. It's people, you want your, it's the saying that I can't stand, you want your cake and eat it too. So I don't ever really know what that means. But you're the cause of your own problem is what I'm trying to say. You are the cause of your own problem. You refuse to wear a mask anywhere, right? But then you get mad at a store for making it mandatory for you to wear the mask in the store. Being the cause of your own problem has to be a mental health crisis in and of itself, that people don't understand that you behave like this. This is simple cause and effect. That's something else y'all didn't pay attention to when you were in school. You didn't pay attention to cause and effect, right? Just like you didn't pay attention to grammar. That's why you're saying Happy New Year's. And that's why you're saying minds and mine. Now, we're not going to get back to the grammar police because I told y'all, grammar police, I want y'all to take a deep breath this year and let some people be and let some people figure it out. But what I'm saying is there's so many things we didn't pay attention to when we were in school that are applicable now. And that's why you don't know it now. You don't know how to do it now because you didn't do it when you was in school. Y'all didn't know how to do group projects. Y'all were the people in the group projects who did show up, but you wrote your name on the back of that freaking bulletin board, on the back of that science fair project board. You are the people who ruin those things. It's y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like you are the problem. You are the cause of your own problem. And all of these problems we're having and issues we're having is because we won't listen. We won't do what's right. And these poor doctors and these poor nurses and all these poor medical people, all these poor teachers, all these poor retail workers, everyone who is exposing themselves day in and day out to the thousands and thousands who keep running up in these hospitals. All of these thousands and thousands who keep running up in these hospitals, taking up all the beds, just like Friday, eating up all the food, all the milk, all the collard green. You can run in the hospital, taking up all the oxygen, taking up all the beds, taking up all the gowns, taking up all the bathroom space. You know, Prince William County Hospital just announced, I saw on Inside Nova, that they are canceling effectively next week, I believe. They are canceling all non-emergency surgeries and or appointments going forward into perpetuity. They don't even have a date of when they're going to open back up yet because that's how overloaded they're. So we're doing it all over again. March 13th, 2020 is when this thing happened. It's when everything shut down. And I will be doggone if we might not even make it to March before something is shut down again. We might not even make it all the way. I don't want it to be shut down again. I like the freedom of being able to go out a little bit and do a couple things. And it was nerve-wracking doing the things that I did do. When Corey and I went to that concert on December 30th, I really wanted to go to that concert. I had that ticket for months. And I lamented over whether I should go to that concert or not because of the COVID numbers. But I said, you know what? I'm putting on 2 masks and I'm getting up in here and I'm going to do the best that I can do and I'm going to pray. But it was a struggle. Initially, it was hard for us to enjoy it, but then when these seats next to us were open for so long and the people didn't show up, Corey and I moved over there, and then it was better. And then because we were around nobody over there, and people were starting to spread out. But I mean, it makes it such a hard situation. You know, I like to go out to eat. I like to go see people. I like to go do things, you know, and it's making it so hard, y'all. And y'all are making it hard for the kids. They keep talking about the kids that they worried about on virtual learning, closing the gaps, but y'all are making it harder for them because the ones who struggle with virtual learning, y'all are making it hard for them. It's the kids who live in a house with multiple families, who have multiple devices, who don't have strong Wi-Fi, that this kind of stuff really impacts. Even if they were available and willing to learn, their circumstances often don't allow for it. So what can we do? We don't listen. We are so hell-bent on doing whatever we want to do that we are causing this all over again. All over again. Like we haven't learned a thing. It's like we don't even have a pandemic playbook. It's like we don't even know what to do. I don't know. Anyway, so I hope that you all have had a great start to your new year. If you have not had a great start to your new year, make it a new year right now. To start today. Do something different. Do something better. I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend. And welcome to the best month of the year. January is the best month of the year. Not only does a new year begin with January, not only do we celebrate the giant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all that he did for civil rights, but then we celebrate my birthday on January 20th. On January 20th, I will be 42 years of age. And I am trying to tell you, it sounds crazy because I feel like 1998 was 10 years ago. I feel like 1985 was 25 years. I don't know. I feel like things were not 40 years ago. I'm having to look at things and say that things were 40 years ago and they were 30 years ago. And in my mind, the things that were 40 years ago in my mind were 25 years ago. And the things that were 30 years ago were 20 years ago. And the things that were 25 years ago were 15. You know, like it's crazy to even say that. But that's okay because I'm thankful for longevity and for being here. My friend Mike on here from high school, we have quite a few classmates that have passed, right, in these last couple months. Classmates younger and older than us. From our high school. And so tomorrow is not promised to anybody. It's not promised to the babies, not promised to the elderly. Tomorrow is not promised to the vegans. Tomorrow is not promised to people who exercise every day. Tomorrow is not promised, period. Anything can happen. And Shantae, I'm sorry you still on here too. So many people have passed away from Oak Park. It's shocking. It's shocking. And I always wonder, like, and I promise this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I know I've been on here too long. I always wonder, like, is it more people passing away now, or is it just that we're older and we're more attentive to it? Like, I feel like we're this many people passing away 30 years ago, you know, and we were just oblivious because we were 11, 12, you know, and it just didn't really register with us. I think a lot of it just has to do with our age, that we are paying more attention to it because of where we are with our age. And it's scary, right? Like sometimes I want to know what happened. And it's not necessarily because I'm being nosy, but some of it is a little bit of a fear thing. Like you want to know if somebody has something, because I think sometimes in your head, you want to justify, oh, well, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But it's not always that case. Hey, Debbie, how are you? So again, it's so many things going on. That's why, I sometimes I'm serious on here, but sometimes I'm laughing and joking and talking about all kind of stuff, right? Just all kind of stuff, because life is very short, and your mortality seems closer and closer every year, probably every day. Every day, something else is hurting on my body. Something was hurting in my finger the other day right here. I don't even know why, but every day something else is hurting. Every day something else is falling down. I don't know. Anyway, we just do the best that we can do, right? So I've been on here way too long. Please go back and watch the replay if you missed it. I talked about so many things today, but this is also up on my YouTube channel, Jamila Golf. So if you go to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. But definitely you can go and watch it, or you can watch the playbacks on Facebook or IGTV. But thank you guys for joining me for Sound Off Saturday, and I will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.